Good evening. Welcome, welcome. This is Vonda, and welcome to Mo Money Mondays. You are tuned into All About Us Radio. I am so excited to see you all and be here. I hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday. It is the dawn of 2/22/22. How about that, right? An auspicious day tomorrow. So I'm very, very excited. You guys should set your intentions, make determinations. There's the universe is opening up to grant all of our greatest desires. 2/22/22. And I think it's the last time that will happen for like 1,000 years or something like that. So, or forever. Really, really cool. Uh, so welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Last week we were not live and I did a repeat show. So I'm very excited to be here with everyone. I do have a special guest. And, here on Mo Money Mondays, we talk about all things money, business. Many of you know that I am particularly fond of the millennial arena and supporting how they do business and looking at the financial paradigm shift that will need to happen to carry that generation into the future. So it's always really, really fascinating to me. And I had this great brainstorm today. I was going to talk about money and invest. I was researching. And I was on Yahoo Finance and some of my favorite places to be, and I'm like, it's not pretty what's going on right now. So I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, a lot of stuff going. Oil prices are up, and the stock market is and Bitcoin is down. It's just a mess. So it did not make me feel warm and fuzzy. So I've decided against it. But what I did want to talk about this evening was something called, have you guys heard of the cash flow quadrant? Are you familiar with that? Do you all know what I'm talking about? Well, Robert Kiyosaki made this concept really, really famous. I want to say that he actually created the concept. He didn't create the concept, but he created the visual for the concept of the cash flow quadrant. And I wanted to talk about that because it is an achievable plan to grow wealth. And so, since we are always here talking about your money and business and how you create business, I thought it'd be kind of cool to just do a quick review. For those of you that know, please feel free to chime in and help me along the way if I leave anything out. So, the cash flow quadrant, it is a way to express or explain how we don't want to work for our money. That's what most folks are doing, working for your money. You want your money to work for you. And for those of you that may not be familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, I'm sure you've heard of his name. He is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So, what was that about, right? So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a book where he creates two dads, or he talks about these two dads that he had kind of like on his shoulder, in his ear. And so the poor dad, um you know the poor dad preached, get good grades, go to college, get a high paying job, live below your means, don't spend too much money, get out of debt, create a good retirement plan, ideally. All of the things that I talk about here, right? So that was the poor dad rendition. And the rich dad said, no one will ever get rich that way, though. You might be able to live and survive, but can you become rich? So I'm always just so fascinated by that. We won't get rich that way. And there is a theory that we live in a country that has taught us the not so right way. How about that? And, you know, well, think about it. You go to high school, we're encouraged to go to college, but what does college do? The minute you go to college, you're in debt, right? Because why? You've got student loans. So now you've got to go to get a good job, right? You've got to find a good job so that you can live on your own because everything is expensive and pay back that student loan. So we are their prisoner right out of college, okay? And before you got to college, your parents were their prisoners, right? Paying for school, you. So it's kind of really interesting the setup that happens financially for us in this country, this great free country of America, which many of us have realized is not very free. So there are a couple of ways that we can look at getting rich. So I just wanted to go through really quickly these four quadrants of business. Really, you haven't heard of the four quadrants of business? Well, you're going to have to check it out. And if you have a minute, I do want you to also check out Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Very famous, came out in the early 2000s, and it is still relevant today. So clearly, everyone is not reading his book, but he really speaks to risk and being fearless and having to put yourself out there and how important it is to learn business principles. He really is adamant about getting rich. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with business principles, learning principles. So, for those of you that are launching your own business, congratulations, kudos to you. For those of you that are stepping out doing network marketing projects, good for you. That's really the way to do it. You know, I heard something very interesting about mistakes, and it goes like this. Well, when you work for a job, right? And you make mistakes, what happens when you make mistakes? They let you go, don't they? But when you're an owner, okay, small business owner, entrepreneur, and you make mistakes, what happens then? Yeah, you get really good, right? You get really good, you get really smart. So, I don't know. I'm personally looking for financial freedom. And I've made so many mistakes and stepped into so many pitfalls that I am really smart these days. Okay, so the cash flow quadrant, I'm going to draw you a picture. We're doing that today, right? Cash flow quadrant. I just want you to have a visual. It's all over YouTube, all over the internet. Please make sure that you check it out. It's pretty simple. I'm going to run it down for you. Okay. Here we go. Cash flow quadrant. This side is the E and the S. So what does that mean? The E stands for employee. What happens when you're an employee? You have no freedom, right? You are a slave to your boss. You work really, really hard for someone else to gain the monetary success. You might get a raise, but what does that do when you get a raise at a job? Ooh, you want to work harder, don't you? Because you're getting more money. And guess what? It affects our mindset. So now we are associating more money with a job. I'm not a fan of a job. Don't get me wrong. I've had them, not very often. I've had them, but I always had jobs where I was I was a free agent. I was kind of like a freelancer, an independent contractor, so to speak. So be careful how you work. But the other, okay, so then we have the S. So what's the S for? Anybody know the S? Well, if you want to, so when you're an employee, you're working for someone else, okay? When you're an employee, you're working for someone else. Now, The reason that it's so important is that when you are what do you call it? A sole proprietor, okay, you are the only one doing business. So that small, what do you call it? Self-employed person, the S person on that side of the quadrant, when you get sick and you're self-employed, there's no money coming in. So if you don't work, everything comes to a halt, right? So do you understand this side of the quadrant? You can never really get ahead. You're either working like a slave or somebody else's work is making all the money. And that is no fun. So, it's that mentality of I've got to do everything. No, 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 no. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a great place to start, but we want to be over here. Okay. We want to be on the B and the I side. So, what does that mean? Business. What happens when you are creating business? You don't work by yourself, right? You hire other people to work for you. So you're making money when you aren't being the actual one doing the work. I mean, maybe you're managing, but you're creating business so that you can have an income even when you sleep. And that's what's up. That's why we want to get from this side to this side. So these are the 4 quadrants. You get it now? And the I stands for investor. Okay. Ideally, once your business escalates and you're at that place of success, then the ideal place to be is to be that investor that invests in other business. And then you're really living large, right? Once you're the investor, you can just kind of sit back while people work hard for you, so to speak. So the 4 quadrants of business, what do they offer? Financial freedom, number 1, right? So I just want you to be mindful. Don't get it twisted. Kudos to you if you are that employee. Please take that paycheck and make that your investment in yourself as you grow your business. Okay, do you understand? And if you are doing business yourself, right? You are that small business owner or self-employed, they call it. That's what the S is for, self-employed. It's a great place to start. So learn, make mistakes, learn as much as you can, bump your head, skin your knees. That is the time. But please be working to get to the other side of the quadrant, the business side, where you can now take on people to help you and work for you so that you can begin to create that income while you sleep. I believe that, what are we at? 8:26. Okay, we're going to continue on. I have a special guest. I think maybe I'll bring him in. And this is so pertinent to him because I've worked with him for a little while now. And he is in marketing. How about that? Digital marketing solutions. That is what he does. Or all around media, should I say. And the thing that's wonderful is that I have been watching him expand his business. Okay, going and hiring other people to facilitate what he is accomplishing. And so I find that we are in the same place that way. I too am working to get onto that business side of the quadrant. I'm creeping along. So you guys, it's a process. It's a process and it takes time. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Don't worry about the mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are the way that we learn, especially when you are in business for yourself. Okay. And even better than that is learning from other people's mistakes. That is really key. So when you get that down, you've got it good. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's see. Paul was in the green room. Let's bring him in. You ready for me?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Hey there, dude. How are you?
I'm great, Miss Vonda. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. And here we are, business as usual.
Absolutely. Wednesdays, you can catch them.
Welcome,
S-
welcome. Yeah,
yes.
we do it. We do. We have a gig we've started called Business as Usual. And so we talk business. And so we're very comfortable. You guys meet Paul Casserly, my pal, my buddy. one of my business associates. Thank you for coming on in and spending some time with us here on Mo Money Mondays tonight. What's
Absolutely.
going on? You've been on vacation.
Yes, I have. It's the first vacation I've taken in probably 4 years, 5 years.
Ooh.
So my girlfriend and I went down to Orlando, Florida. We got to see, we went to SeaWorld, we went to Discovery Cove, which is one of the SeaWorld parks. I got to hug a dolphin and swim with the dolphin and take pictures, and
Oh,
it
I'm
was
so
so much
jealous.
fun. And got to see Clearwater Beach. I'd never been to the Gulf.
You were a big
Um,
kid.
yeah, I was, I have this big thing about penguins. Some people birdwatch. I'm just a big penguin fan. I don't know why. Maybe it comes from PA or something, but I love penguins. They're just so funny. So when we went to the SeaWorld park, I just loved going in to see the penguins and just doing their thing. But so yeah, I made a lot of good memories the last week, and we got back. Was it Wednesday morning? Back to the Philly area. And
Okay.
if you guys are gonna fly, um, maybe don't take Frontier. uh, but that's a whole other thing. So, but yeah, I had a great time. It was well deserved.
Nice. Well, vacation is very important, especially when you are in business. It's important to regenerate, it's important to ground, it's important to clear your head and decompress because sometimes we just get so tight, nothing else can come in, and we really need to release. So good for you. I'm so glad you guys went on vacation.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to be really, really kind. So you tapped into your inner child. That's what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
right? I've been to Disney World. It's a lot.
Well, we didn't actually go to Disney. I don't know if
Well,
you've.
okay, you went to SeaWorld. You didn't.
Yeah.
SeaWorld is Disney though.
No. SeaWorld is like they're like a water park, like an all around sort of. You can go swimming. You
I've
can
been. It's not a Disney franchise. It's not a Disney production though.
that I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but
I
it
think
wasn't
it's
like
owned by
Disney
Disney though.
Park itself.
I got you. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Exhausting. So good for you. Glad you got that in you. You were tired, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's you guys. You do a lot of walking when you go to Orlando. When you go to the theme parks, and they are
Hmm.
fabulous. Wait, and Paul doesn't have any children, so
No,
these are adults going right. Exactly.
right.
Children will run you ragged. So at least you were able to probably take your time.
Hmm.
That's so great.
Yeah,
Okay, so you know what? I think that before we get started, we're going to hit for a commercial.
okay.
And then we'll be right back, and I'm going to dive into Paul. I've got some gushy stuff for you that I'd like you to help me out with. Would really like to pick your brain. Is that cool? Okay. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to go to commercial.
Hello, this is Najesti from Butter Me Essentials Natural Hair and Body Company. We are located in Brooklyn, New York. We are a family-owned company, which is run by my husband Vaden and I. Do you have hair that is hard to manage? Having trouble with hair growth? Is your skin always dry? No problem. Butter Me Essentials is here with the solution. We specialize in hair butters, pomades, hair elixirs, shampoos, conditioners, luxury soaps, body butters, lotion bars, perfumes, scrubs, and so much more. All of our products is made with natural and organic ingredients such as shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, Jamaican black castor oil, avocado oil, Oregon oil, and essential oils. There is no sulfates, petroleum, mineral oils, or parabens, just all natural goodness. If you would like to order our products, check out our website at buttermeessentials.com, buttermeessentials.com, or call 646-524-3351, 646-524-3351. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Remember, like our motto says, you deserve to be buttered.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I am Vonda, your host here on Mo Money Mondays. You are tuned into All About Us Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. We are with the wonderful Paul Casserly of Cassis Media. digital marketing solutions. So Paul's been sharing his vacation, and yes, now that you're nice and rested, I do want to pick your brain. So you heard me talking about business and the cash flow quadrant, and the need or intention to get from one side of that quadrant over to the business side, from the employee and self-employed side over to the business and investor side. And so part of that does involve making mistakes. I love this line that I've learned, that money doesn't make you rich, business skills make you rich. And I know as a millennial, you have been really honing your skills. So, number one, will you tell us how old you are? And then I would like you to speak to your process and your business.
Sure. So I'm 29 years old. I'll be 30 in October. So for those of you who are zodiac minded, I'm a Libra. So I love balance in all areas of my life. So I actually started Cassis Media back in 2017. I had been out of the Marine Corps for about 2 years, and I was looking for creative kind of jobs because I'm a musician. I'm a trumpet player. I played in the Commandant's Own Drum and Bugle Corps down in Washington, D.C.
No.
And I said, well, I have this need to create. So I said, well, the best way to, do a job I love, because I was, when you get out of the military, kind of lost, is probably marketing. So I looked for marketing jobs, and because I didn't have a degree, I wasn't viewed as, knowledgeable about marketing. But I'd been studying it, throughout my military career, and I just didn't have the piece of paper. So I said, forget that. I'm going to go ahead and start my own venture. And Cassis Media was born. And I started off doing websites, which eventually led to the need to, have Photoshop and graphic design and video and audio. And then, of course, people want email marketing. And it's all tied into social media, which is the platforms that you market yourself on. So come my 5th year of business here, in 2022, I finally came up with I think, what is the solution to help propel my business forward for the next 10 to 40, 50 years.
Nice. Okay, well, tell us. So you're going to leave us hanging.
Yes, it is called, so if you see the symbol here, I hired a gentleman named Kennedy Page. He's a fellow Marine veteran.
Wait. We have symbols on shirts. We've got logos on. Is that
Yeah.
embroidered, or is it silk screen?
Oh, it's embroidered. I paid for it.
Oh,
Yeah. We have a
local.
local company that they do. So I ordered about 6
Nice.
shirts. I said, I'm not going to have to decide what to wear. I'm just going to wear this shirt every day now.
I love it. We can get a few.
Yeah. But what this is, it's 4 circles. And you could assign symbolism to it, but basically think of like 4 elements or a quadrant that we just discussed. I don't know if any of you know about the flower of life, or it's all interconnected. It's all, so we could go into a whole conversation about that. But essentially, the program is called the 360 Marketing Program. And what it is it's basically we replace or fill in the gap where a small business can't afford a marketing employee, or Susie Smith is doing it all herself, and she's like, I just don't have time for this. And her business is stagnating because she does not have the time or the energy to do it all herself, or himself, whoever. And so it's $1,000 a month, and that's, most employers pay, what, $25,000 to $30,000 just on minimum wage, especially now that we're at the 15 minimum, plus benefits. And of course, this isn't pitching people. I'm just explaining the program.
You mean $15 an hour? No, I understand.
Yeah, if you do the math, it's what was it? Calculator. I'll do this live for everybody. If you're a small business and you're like, okay, I want to hire a full-time marketing employee, it's $15 times 40 hours a week times 52 weeks out of the year. You're paying them $31,200 on average, so about $30,000 a year plus benefits. If you hire them full time, This program offers a solution for small businesses where it's $1,000 a month, it's only $12,000 a year, and it's tax deductible because it's under a marketing expense. Um, and we, we just do all the stuff that a marketing employee does.
Okay. I like it. I like it. So let's talk about what type of business can afford that. Then clearly you are catering to small businesses that are that have probably a couple of employees, or at least making what they're grossing 150, 200,000 a year in profit. Would you say? Do you consider that when you are setting your price grid and deciding on your services?
So the program's all inclusive, whereas normally, what we charge for a website is included, so they're saving money there.
Oh, so you can
Um,
do anything you want during that month that you need.
yep, and it's a 12-month agreement, and there's a reason for this. Um,
I like it.
it takes time. Marketing is a risk.
Yeah.
It's not an exact science, but if you know how to read the data and you know how to read your numbers and who's actually paying attention to your company, what they care about your company, they're eventually going to start trickling in. And what you're trying to do ultimately is generate that word of mouth. You want people to start, doing some of this about your business. Um, so I'll give you an example. I have a new client. He owns a cleaning company over in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area,
Okay.
and he and his wife. Well, I don't think his wife was very involved, but um, he was involved in. There was like an African American Chamber of Commerce thing that he was a part of, and he said, "Yeah, these local chambers and stuff, they don't really help. Um, they're just there in name only, and then you have to pay your dues." He's like, I needed something like consistently putting my name out there, reaching out to businesses. And I said, okay. So what we did is we completely revamped his website. It was one of those free GoDaddy builders. I don't know if any of you use GoDaddy, but
I
it's,
I know about I know about them.
yeah. So it's simple and it's a good start. It's very affordable. But the thing is, if you want the data to drive your business forward, you have to have the ability to integrate your social media, your Google Analytics, your Facebook Pixel, all of that technical mumbo jumbo and stuff that you need to like figure out. Okay, someone went to my homepage and then they clicked on this button and then they went here and stayed there for 30 seconds. All of that stuff, behavior of your customers, that gives you an immensely powerful insight to how customers are actually interacting with your business. So that's all included in this program. And I'm on a personal mission to help these small businesses save money and grow at the same time because I'm a small business. And
Yeah.
so that's it.
Yeah. I love the concept. You hit on something for me, because you're right. There's a lot that we can do ourselves, but I have no idea how it's landing. I have no idea what's working. And you know what I use? You know what my analytics are?
What's that?
You want to hear? I'm going to make you laugh.
Sure.
How many likes I got?
Oh, that's a very broad way to measure your business.
Exactly. But, and honestly, that's how most of us that are doing it ourselves are doing it. And, even for me, I didn't think that it was very important.
Hmm.
And I had to learn that, marketing is different for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm sending people that I've already got to see my marketing just to legitimize myself. But there are people out there that are really, creating business from their marketing, and it's very, very important. Well, let me just say congratulations to you on this client. That's a really big, big deal.
Hmm.
Very smart. Well, how do you market yourself?
Well, it's ironic because I discovered that for marketing companies and agencies specifically, direct sales is actually more effective because there are so many marketing companies out there,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are in other countries. A lot of them are saying, they're doing lead gen. So it's like, we'll get you, 20 calls a month or something like that. That's great, but it's not, those are they quality calls? Are they going to stick around or get back
Yeah.
to you? And then they just kind of take your money that way. So you need a long-term plan. It's kind of like dieting. Um, I just started a
We don't
new
say that word here.
okay, a
We don't
lifestyle
use that
change.
word
How's
here. Thank
that?
you very much. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I can relate. It's kind of like dieting.
yeah, and a lifestyle change in comparison. So diets, they tend to follow fads. They are short term, but if you have a lifestyle change, something more permanent and long term, and you work on it and develop it, um, you're going to maintain that for 30, 40, 50 years, depending on how much time you have left. Um, so I'm 29. I just started a lifestyle change. I started going back to the gym. I want to get back to my Marine
Woo! Go,
Corps
go,
weight.
go. You go, Polly. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Me
yeah.
too.
Awesome, awesome.
3 times a week. Yeah.
Oh, great.
For you. Feel
Yeah,
good. You feel good?
yeah, yeah.
You feel good? Yeah. I know they're happy that they're back in business again and
Oh,
and
yeah.
running and mobile. So that's amazing.
Hmm.
Well, I'm very proud of you that you have started this. I have a question though. So you talked about these analytics. I understand that they're important. I understand what they do. So are you saying that you actually track these for your clients? Does the client need to know about the analytics in order for them to do better business, or is that something that you use just for marketing?
No, I believe that I believe in empowering my clients to be knowledgeable because if I have, and I don't know if it's an integrity thing, but I believe that if I'm not doing what they need to be done, they shouldn't be paying me or they should, my
Mhm.
company. So, um, you need to generate that proof. Google Analytics, of course, is what everybody uses, whether you're using the Universal or the Analytics 4 that they just came out with. Um, which, for those of you who are more technical minded, you probably know what I'm talking about. And the client needs to understand what they're doing on their end that's helping drive sales. So whether you're selling products like that commercial we just
Yeah.
saw, or you're selling services like you do with your financial coaching and everything, um, everything is a product. Everything benefits somebody else. That's what business is about. It's about providing a benefit to somebody else who, if you can't help them, they're not going to buy. Now we could talk about needs versus wants, but that's a whole different. Um, and maybe it helps them
Makes
by making
sense.
them happy. You know,
I'm my product. I am my product.
right?
Um, how does that speak to brand? Can you be your own brand? Yes.
You are your own brand.
You are
Right
your
now,
own
I'm
brand.
yeah. Right now, I'm the face of Cassis Media. Um, as an organization gets bigger, the face becomes many faces. It becomes the logo, the brand. McDonald's isn't associated with one person anymore.
True.
Uh,
No more Ronald.
right. Yeah, they actually got rid of all the characters. I was
They
sad.
did. No more Ronald, no more Burger Man or the burger thief guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All gone.
Yeah,
All gone. Okay.
but those were faces of that brand at one time. We look at Apple, and Steve Jobs was the face of that brand. When you say Tim Cook, if people don't know about Apple, they're like, who? you know.
Yeah.
So Apple has, I wouldn't say devolved, but changed into this. They're just looked at as a high tech phone uh, technology company in Silicon Valley. They're not viewed as a face. Jeff Bezos used to be the face of Amazon. Um, Now he's the face of Amazon, but in a different way.
Right.
So people just think of the website first, and then oh, Jeff owns it. So, but if we scale it back down to like you and I, and we own our own businesses, we are self-employed. So you had asked me earlier about the people that
Well,
I
you're
was
not just self-employed anymore because you've been hiring,
I
and
was
that's very strategic.
yes, I was
Yeah.
going to tell you.
Mhm.
Um, so I offer this. I wouldn't say it's a sales. Well, it's kind of a sales affiliate position. Um, so the program's 1,000 a month, and I said if I'm going to get people to get on board, because we're not quite at the point where we can hire them as employees, we can subcontract them, but I want to compensate them well. Um, and I said, okay, I'm going to give them a 25% commission rate, which is insane. No one ever does that. Um, and these, well, I call them my connection specialists. So their job is to connect new customers with Casas Media and sign them on for the 360 marketing program, and then we take over on the marketing side. So it's in its baby stages right now. But I said, okay, well, if you earn 250 a month, passive income, once they sign the contract for the 12 months, you get paid 250. We get paid, they get paid. So if they have 10 contracts under their belt, they're earning $2,500 a month, just like that. They don't have to do
Nice.
anything else except check in with them once a month. If they have 20 contracts, that's 5 grand a month. So you can see how they could quickly build up um, an income that allows them to do what they really want to do. So I built in that whole helping mindset for these connection specialists as well, where I said, okay, you guys can, this you could put this stuff away for a rainy day. It could help you with your electric bill. So I want to help them that way. So it's 100% commission based right now, but it's a 25% pay rate of the total price of the contract. So I did probably 40, 50 interviews in a month. It was like insane how many people signed up or wanted, signed up to be interviewed. But out of 50 people, Vonda, only four stuck around and are actually doing something. Now, I haven't,
That makes sense though. 1% of that's why it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game.
right. And there's one kid, I won't mention his name, but he's probably 18, 19. He's super gung ho. He just called me actually a little bit ago before I got on here. And he was, he's like, yeah, I got all this stuff going on, but I just wanted to check in with you. And I admire uh, not audacity, what his
Drive.
motivation, to do this because he can see the value. And then he asked me, and this is funny because this is part of that investor quadrant part. He said, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get this new job, but I was thinking maybe down the line if I could, invest in Casas Media. I was like
Mm.
flabbergasted. I'm like, well, that's flattering, man. I mean, I haven't thought about it. But we can definitely talk about it. So if he believes in it and I believe in it, there's no reason this, in the next year or two, Casas Media shouldn't become this, $500,000 company. Um, because if we're bringing in, let's say I did all the leads, so I'll tell you, uh, $1,000 a month. Do you know how much on average does it take to bring in six figures?
You mean over the course of starting business?
Like a year? Like how much, just off the top of your head, do you know the average number?
No, I don't. I don't know that I understand your question, but so tell me the
Oh,
answer.
okay. If you want to make six figures, you want to break $100,000 income, you have to bring in $8,333.33. So 100,000 divided by 12.
A week,
No, a month.
a month. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Really?
So,
Does
yeah.
that make
So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So if if I were to bring in eight clients at $1,000 a month, provided they're not, like brought in by a connection specialist, I've broken six figures. Vonda, I rarely ever had comma in my bank account until recently. So I told
Congratulations.
it,
That's it's big. It feels good, doesn't it?
it does, and you know, it's forced me to look at a couple of things. Um,
Mm.
you if you guys are out there looking at the shiny new software and the toys, you don't need a lot of stuff. You don't need to pay for Microsoft Office. It's going to save you 30 some dollars a month. You can use Google Docs and Google Sheets. They do the same thing. Um, you don't, you can use Zoom for your video meetings or Google Meet. That's free. It's absolutely free. Google, if you haven't figured it out, is going to be your best friend starting out.
And they don't have a time limit, do they? Google
No,
Lead.
Google does not.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so
I like it.
when one of the things that held me back was I was buying like a business phone number with I think it's called Grasshopper. I was paying for all these extra things that I didn't really need, and I was just kind of like, "Ugh," I didn't know that I didn't need all of these things,
Yeah.
but I thought I did. And I
Mindset.
realized at the end of the day, guys, it's sales. You need sales, so you need to focus on, say it with me, sales.
Sales.
That's how you're going to get to the next part of the quadrant. And then
I love
you
it.
develop a system. You develop a system to keep those sales going. So I'm at the part where I've started bringing on other people to help me and rewarding them well. Um, and eventually, I'll get to the business owner point where I have a marketing project manager, marketers who do the exact same thing that I do. They can build websites and do all the stuff. We'll have the sales team doing their thing. And then I don't look at it as like sitting back and saying, okay, this is a good business. I still always want to be heavily involved in it until it gets to the point where you can either just have some equity in the company and then go do what you want to do, or B, you can sell the company. So some
Yeah.
people literally just make businesses to sell them.
Sell them.
Yeah, and it's a rinse and
I
repeat
think I'm too
process.
possessive for that. But yeah, it's an
Yeah,
interesting thought. Think you could do that?
probably.
if
So
if the price is right, I bet you could. I bet I could too. If the price was right, I probably um it's so interesting because one of the things that I had a chat about earlier today was mindset and business. When you're on that right side of the quadrant, right, the
mhm.
employee and self-employed side, you are a slave to the work and the work brings the money. So it reinforces that we have to work like a slave to get all of this money. But once you begin to get to that other side, the business side, where you can partner with other people, other sharp, smart people that can support you, and the money begins to come in, you begin to understand that it's not in the working hard, it's in the working smart. So
Mhm.
I say that to say that there's a shift in mindset that happens when you get to the business side. And I think the shift has to happen to get to the business side so that you can actually trust that other people can really do the work that you need, because there's a trust factor there as well, especially if you've nurtured your business and grown it from seedling, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It takes time, guys.
Mhm.
It takes time. So let's talk about we're almost out of time, but do you want to speak to the mistakes you've made? How have they been your best friend? You laugh.
I'm loading the gun to shoot my foot. All right. So, uh, hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. So I'm pretty transparent about my own life, and when you start a business, it's directly intertwined with your personal life.
Yes.
You try to separate business and personal as best as you can. Like they say, don't bring it with you, don't bring it home with you. But sometimes you literally are doing your business at home. My aunt, for instance, sewed and raised three children just sewing for people. Just got a name out there, and I don't know how she did it. She's my hero, because like she's my idol when it comes to
It's
building a
awesome.
business. Yeah, and she's the best seamstress in town now. Um, but when I first started, I was dating a girl, and she had a son. I've been a stepdad twice, so I've checked off the parenting
At
thing.
29, okay.
Well, I was let's see, it was 2020. I would say it was like late 2015 to 2018.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I was probably 23. Yeah, I think it was
Interesting.
like 22, 23. Um, but I was working a job for the state of Pennsylvania. Um, you know, uh, Fed loan servicing. So I was, for those of you who have student loans, which is all of us, pretty much. I would probably take your call and say, I can help you with your loans. I was doing that for 10 to 12 hours a day, Vonda. I wanted as much overtime as I could get,
Well, yeah.
and it was killing my soul. Um, it was just eating me alive from the inside
Get
out
that
because,
money, right? Yes.
yeah. And when I started my business, so that was because I met her shortly after I got out, and about 2 years later is when I started the business. Uh, she wasn't, I wouldn't say she was all that supportive. So it's important to have supportive people in your life, and that's probably
Absolutely.
one of the biggest struggles you guys are going to face is people telling you you can't do it, you're wasting your time, it's not worth it, it's too risky. It's bullcrap. I just gotta
Especially if
say,
they see you falling on your face
yeah,
because they don't understand, or losing money, or
yeah.
not getting the deal, or not getting the client after you've, done this whole presentation. Yes, you're
Hmm.
absolutely right.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to convince my own family, guys, this is gonna work. I just haven't figured out how yet. There's
Trust
an old
me.
yeah, there's an old story about jumping ships. So there was an army that was on ships, and they got to shore, and the captain burned it behind them. And the men were frightened. They said, "Why would you do that?" And he said, "You're either going to take the city or you're going to die trying." So that's a pretty radical way to do this. But eventually, I quit that job, and I was scared. You know, I was
You
scared.
remembered it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was not happy. Um, but I did okay. I had some website clients, and that, like I said earlier, that's how I started. And then things got a little rocky. I had trouble, getting clients because I didn't understand the concept of creating a system of generating sales. I was scared of sales. I was scared of talking to people. Uh, you get imposter syndrome, and we all go through this, whether you're selling buttercreams or you're selling marketing
I,
services or financial
yes.
services.
I've
We,
been
we
there.
yeah, yeah. But you have to trust that you know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't even have considered starting your business, right? Um, and what's going to help you guys with that is learning as you go. So make sure you're always keeping up on, industry news. You're involved in those communities that are in your industry. Um, that way, you're going to get support from, people who are doing what you're doing. There's almost 8 billion people on the planet, Vonda. You only need a tiny, tiny slice of the pie to make a living,
Yeah.
right?
And the other
Um,
thing is that people, folks, when you're talking to people, first of all, I am a fan of network marketing. So for those of you that don't have a large financial budget and you want to start business, piggyback off of a larger company. Network marketing is amazing for learning a system,
hmm
right? You said you spoke to a system. You're absolutely right. So what do you do if you don't know a system and you haven't had any experience in business? Find a company, find Avon, find, Legal Shield, work with a company, learn the system, and you will do your personal development and learn a business system with that network marketing company. And then you can, swing through the trees over into your own company down the line. But I just needed to say that because that's brilliant. You're right. You need a system.
yeah,
You need a
actually,
system.
actually, I can speak to that because when I was in the Marine Corps, for about 6 months, I was a member of Amway. My sergeant got me into it, and I knew nothing. I was green. Um, but I learned so much from those guys
Yeah.
about your mindset because
Mm-hmm.
network marketing isn't easy. You're going into a Barnes and Noble and you feel kind of cheesy. You're like, hey, is that you like that book? You're trying to start a conversation, but you have an agenda behind it. You're trying to get the conversation toward, come on. Well, if you want to start a business, we'll teach you. Because how else are you supposed to do it? You're supposed to, um, but so I learned a lot of stuff. And one of the things you guys need to understand is you're looking for lookers. That was the big thing of our network marketing team. Um, the thing is, you're never going to be able to sell to people who aren't looking or want your product or service. So don't waste your energy trying to convince people. Um, Steve Jobs once said, "We created a product they didn't know they needed yet." So
There you
you know,
go. There's a saying in my industry that says, "Some will, some won't. So what? Next."
exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
today, and I'll give you an example to wrap it up. I spent about an hour calling potential clients, and I must have called 20 people, and
Good for you.
I got two of them on the phone, and one said, I'm just not in the mental space to talk about this right now, but I wish you luck. I know it's hard. It's not difficult. I'm just making phone calls. But and then the other person that spoke to me, she said, well, just email me some information because they were working with a company. But she could potentially say, we could save costs by going with Cassis Media, and so maybe she would be a client. Um,
Hmm.
but she might be a looker. She might be looking for that. You never know until you ask.
Yes. Or she might be a looker and not even know that she's looking yet,
Yep, exactly.
because that they haven't crossed that bridge. And there are no coincidences. So who knows what's going to happen to her other person. And just FYI, everyone, um, Jameson Legacy Group, which is my company, is proud to announce that, yes, Mr. Paul Casserly did my website. So go ahead and take a look. While you're looking at me, look at him. We are out of time, but I am so excited that you came by. Thank you. You look refreshed. You look excited to do business and move on and continue on. I wish you so much success. And congratulations on making it to the other side of the quadrant. Hey guys, when you hire employees, it can look like one, it can look like two. It's just the idea that you are no longer doing it all yourself. And this is how we shift the mindset: learning to release, learning to share responsibility, learning how to give direction. You understand, right? That must take a little bit of a swing because you've been doing it yourself. So now you have to delegate. All of this speaks to personal development. So I wish you well. Thank you so much for joining us. Paul, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Absolutely. If you go to www.cassismedia.com, that's CASSUS Media, you can view all the information about my company, links to our social, and so on and so forth.
You got it. Or you can just hit me up and ask me, and I'll lead you to him.
That too.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I will see you again real soon for business as usual.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. We'll see you real soon.
See.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, I can't keep you out. I'm trying to keep you out. Okay, there we go. Thank you for joining. This is Vonda, your host of Mo Money Mondays. We will be back again next week. You are tuned in to All About Us Radio. So make sure you check out. They've got a fabulous lineup all week. We expect to see you here. Stay safe, stay woke, and live each day with intention. Thank you.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at AAU Media, and visit our website, www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio.